Most EU4 players I know exclusively play starting from 1444 and get bored by like 1650, but this game has 11 other start dates, so today I felt like checking some of them out. And a couple of these scenarios are actually pretty interesting, so they may end up surprising you. Also, only 0.5% of you are actually subscribed to my channel, so... Okay, the first start date I'm going to be looking at seems entirely pointless considering it's not even 10 years after 1444. But, actually there are a couple of weird differences. The Ottomans have Constantinople naturally, and then the rest of the Byzantine lands are just split up into city-states. And if you come and look at Austria, it is a f***ing mess. The Ottomans are at war with Hungary, but Austria is not a part of that war even though they have a PU over Hungary. And also Austria is split into two. There's a nation called Styria that has the whole southern half of their land. So Styria is actually the Holy Roman Emperor instead of Austria, putting them in a pretty good position. You have a 53 force limit at the start of the game. And you do have cores on Austria, but you are under threat of being PU'd almost immediately. But I mean, you could always just introduce an heir if your ruler's starting to get too old. Yeah, you start off in a pretty strong position. If for some reason you wanted to get caught up in like this Habsburg civil war, you could do that. The next start date we're going to look at is going to be in 1508. The 1508 start date actually throws you right into the middle of the League War, and not that League War, not the Protestant League War, but the War of the Cambrian League, which is basically just Venice at war with everybody. They're at war with France, who does have a big portion of Italy. They're at war with Austria. And also you'll notice that Russia has eaten well into Lithuania. They're formed already, which usually doesn't happen by this point in most games that I've played. So it's cool to have like a unified Russia that early. And of course, if you wanted to play like Portugal or Spain, you can kind of just jump right into colonization because they're already in the middle of it. Spain already has most of the Caribbean. And I think Portugal is actually at war with the Ottomans. Yeah, Portugal's at war with the Ottomans and a bunch of people in India. England hasn't gotten much done yet, except losing everything they have to France. And the Ottomans are looking pretty strong. Persia's formed. (1618). This one's a good one. I've actually played as Bohemia in this before. It was a fun game, but there's a lot going on at this start date. The Dutch are still revolting against Spain. That's what the 80 Years' War start date was. It was basically just the first part of the Netherlands rebellion against Spain, but that kind of continues into this start date. And Austria is at war with Bohemia because they're revolting. Okay, 100 years later, the War of the Quadruple Alliance, and fucking everything has changed. Austria got all their land back from the Ottomans, and part of Italy, and Bohemia, and just all of this land. France is huge, England's unified, Spain has all of their empire, and Qing's happening. Like pretty much all of these countries have their late game borders set up, except with the exception of like Prussia and a couple other places. But yeah, their late game borders are already here, so there's really like not much more to accomplish if you start here. There's a reason why people prefer 1444, but there are a couple interesting wars going on in this time period though. The War of the Quadruple Alliance, which is what it's named after, is happening, and Spain is fighting everybody, but they do have their colonies to back them on that, so that could be interesting. They could have enough support from there if you wanted to play Spain and try and fight this off. Another war is going on. Is Sweden is at war with everybody as well. They're at war with Denmark, Prussia, the Commonwealth, and Russia. Yeah, so those are two major conflicts in this time period. But again, unless you're playing like in Prussia or somewhere else, there's not too much more to accomplish. Like this starts in 1718, which is longer than most people get their actual campaigns to. Yeah, that's it for this video. I can see that there's a reason why people don't really play these. Also, shout out to Chu L. His comment gave me the idea for this, but yeah, subscribe. I'm going to be making longer videos than this, so if you want a part 2 in the comments, let me know. That's all.